This is Designing with Purpose, where we break down the thinking behind architecture for clients, for architects, for better projects. I'm your host, Kyle Stuart, talking with the team at Thrive Architects about what actually drives great design. Let's get started. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Designing with Purpose. We are looking forward to bringing you another great conversation today with firm principal of Thrive Architects, Jeremy Bartlett, and Angie Streckenbach up in the Appleton office as well. Today we're talking about networking and business development in architecture. A lot of architects, well, pretty much every business owner knows that networking and business development is important. Otherwise, you don't have a business. However, a lot of people aren't necessarily taught how to do that well. And Thrive Architects has a good approach and a really great perspective on how that's been successful for you. So I want to hear today, what does networking and business development actually look like for architects, and what are the most important aspects of it?
Yeah. So keyword is relationships, building relationships, at least from our standpoint, and how it's led to some of our success. And I think early on, we had some things that got us started that were relationship driven that that I know that Angie appreciates and maybe would want to talk about a little bit more than me, because I if there's one thing I have an issue with, it's bragging, and I when I get talking about this, I feel like it comes off a little too, I don't know, a little too strong.
No, you shouldn't. You shouldn't feel that way, Jeremy. Because I mean, it's true. We do at the company have a lot of repeat clients. Whether they're contractors or owners. Over the past 11 years, we've been able to build that portfolio. But the credit really goes to starting the company based on relationships themselves. So I think that Jeremy had a lot of relationships coming into starting Thrive Architects. He had experience and knowledge in specific fields and connections that were made prior to Thrive being born, and those relationships really were the first projects that we had, and it's a testament to who he is and how he prides himself on building those relationships and keeping in contact with people.
Yeah, and can you give some examples of those, a relationship or two that led to work for Thrive?
Well, one of the things that's kind of funny about today, and Kyle and I share this, there was a relationship that Kyle was part of, and I was part of in the beginning, and that was a church, Lake Point Church. I had really gotten involved and more involved in our community, and Lake Point was formed on the basis of the community, and that appealed to me at the right moment in time. And we were in a high school together with the church, and at some point the church grew and wanted to take a grocery store and convert it to a church, and they went out for RFP. And obviously I had been volunteering and giving time there, and I met Kyle, and Kyle was part of the worship team there and the leadership team there. And they went through a full RFP bid process and all that. But I mean, having a relationship is really important. So I had a low price because I wanted to do it and I was passionate about it, but also we had a relationship. There was a level of trust there that I hope, I've never really put Kyle on the spot, and I've never really put Brian, who's the pastor there, on the spot. But like, I would hope that, it wasn't just that relationship, it was also the expertise that I had conveyed and brought at that time that allowed for that to cultivate and turn into one of our first projects at Thrive.
And I can say the project turned out very well. So it was definitely a success that came off of that relationship. So,
and I believe became a repeat client as well, because they did within the last 10 years have to do some additional expansion work and upgrade to keep up with the times.
And wildly enough, here we are now today, and Kyle has gone into more of a marketing business development thing, and he has his own business, and we've stayed connected and friends through that, and he's really great at this and what he does, and I think this is something he's having a lot of fun with.
Well, and it helps to have a relationship with the person you're working with, so we can have a lot more fun when that's the case as well. So
that's a big chunk of it for us, is having fun. So
Yeah, that's important. And that helps build trust too, and people know you can laugh together and have a good time as well. Angie, anything you wanted to say about networking, business development up in the Appleton office that maybe is unique to you or that you've experienced?
We had started the Appleton office in 2020. So at that time, when I moved to the area and we decided to open up, I was trying to find the best growth market really to kind of break into and start meeting people. So I joined a chamber locally and made some great friendships through that, which led to some referrals, various different people that we were able to work with outside of the chamber, even. And now I continue to be a part of that as the board. Just a great way to meet people, just getting out in the community, put yourself in front of people that aren't even on your radar, maybe, and you never know where it's going to lead to.
Yeah, what I say is Angie has got that knack for understanding that we have to do the design, and we also are really our own voice architecturally. It's a very technical industry, and to be able to juggle that and balance meeting and making connections and cultivating relationships and building trust. To me, that's the key to success for architects who are more have a more entrepreneurial mindset. One of the other little tidbit is, and this is certainly not every architect out there, this is very unique to Angie, is she's got like another whole tool set. She went back to college and got some extra degrees in some business and management degrees, and so she's got another whole little tool set that she kind of keeps in the back pocket. She never talks about. So
nope, she doesn't ever talk about it. Yes, I did. I went back and got my MBA, focusing on leadership and marketing. So
I'm the owner. I don't have any.
Sounds like you're talking about it now, but that's great.
I'm talking about it now.
Not every firm has that, and not every firm has the big marketing dollars and things like that they can afford to spend on advertising.
And we don't.
And you've been successful with it. So I guess talk to maybe there's a young architect that's listening, or somebody who wants to be an architect or is just starting out, which you have already done. What would your advice be to them in terms of networking and building their business the way that you have?
Yeah. So if it's the way I've done it, it's going to work different for everyone. Not everyone has the same personality. And maybe you're not as outgoing, or maybe you're more outgoing. What's worked for me has been really building connections and building relationships, and then maintaining those relationships. And it's a two-way street. I think this is a really important thing to say to young architects and to architects that are maybe a couple of years in practice. It's a two-way street. Make sure that the client also respects that relationship coming back. Not every client is the best client. I personally met a few individuals that I wish I would have maybe steered away from, and especially earlier on in my practice. Fortunately, it didn't take me down. So there is that level to it. But the biggest thing I can say is relationship driven is what's gotten us to where we are today. I think it's as simple as that. Go out, get involved in your community, go out, network. One of the things I started with was I said, okay, within 15-mile radius of my office, who are all the construction companies within the area? And I went out and I met all of them, reached out. They're very much open to making connections with architects. We go hand in hand, right? We're all working for the same end goal, and that's an awesome project for a client. So,
yeah, that's a good point, Jeremy. With the looking at the map and just seeing the contractors in the area. The other thing, we've gotten some referrals even from our consultants that we work with. I have a structural engineer that I work pretty closely with up in this northern half of Wisconsin, and we're constantly getting referrals from her to just, she can't provide the architecture side of things, and sometimes it doesn't even need structural engineering, but she happily brings us in. So even just keeping in contact with the consultants that are everybody's out there networking. We're all talking to different people, and you never know what you're going to hear.
I want to say one thing about that, and that is that our consultants that we hire trust us enough to say, hey, you're the architect that we want to give and work with. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that because loyalty comes into play. That we understand that if we've got a relationship with them, that we're going to be loyal in return, or that if we have an opportunity, that we're going to bring them in return. So loyalty is a big part of the mindset here. It's just not just loyalty with our clients; it's loyalty with our consultants. And again, it's relationship based and building trust. So I know it sounds like common sense, I'm sure, but that's our success. It's not a secret.
Yeah, I think it is common sense, but a lot of people aren't. It's a dying skill. I think a lot of people want the instant results as fast as they can get them, and that's the world we live in. And when it comes to building trust, that still takes time. And but once you have an established network of people that's willing to refer others to you, and the loyalty that you mentioned, Jeremy, I mean, that's invaluable, and that pays dividends for years and years for your business without you having to invest additional time and money. As we kind of wrap up, what would you leave people with as a takeaway from maybe a client's perspective? If they're looking for an architect, what would they be looking for in terms of a architect that builds relationships like you're talking about, and what should architects take away from this as they try to develop their business?
I laugh a little bit because what are clients looking for? I say we should be looking to have fun and build relationships together. Like if that's going to a baseball game or hanging out outside of it. And I'd say this even to the architects that are out there. Let's go hang out. Let's share some war stories. Let's go do some things. Let's build relationships together. I laugh in that it's to me the whole structure is kind of I don't know. It's fun and the best part of it is relationship part. Architecture, I got into this with the design and the whole idea there, and then as I've done more of the business side of things and gotten away more from design because I'm off the desk so much more, I really found that what I enjoy more than anything is going out and meeting everyone. So I don't know if I even answer your question, Kyle, but it just, when you started asking it, it kind of just struck me. I don't know why, but
yeah, that's great. And I love the authenticity of who you are and how you bring that to your business. I think that's a good takeaway for anybody, any business owner really, is being true to who you are and the way that you build those relationships. And that can take a lot of different forms, but ultimately you're still creating that long-lasting trust with the people that could potentially work with you or refer others to you. So, Angie, I'll let you have the last word. Anything you want to add to that as far as a takeaway for potential clients or architects?
I think to all of that, what you guys both just said is that your personalities have to fit, right? The relationship isn't going to work from the architect and client perspective or architect and contractor perspective if the personalities don't fit. You've got to make sure that you're aligned on the goals and, understand each other's, the needs and their processes. So
yeah, it's a short marriage.
You're working. What's that?
It's a short marriage is what it really is.
It is a short marriage. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, we keep saying the word relationship, trust, but it's true. I mean, that's what it boils down to, is make sure that you guys, you can get along with who you're working with. Yep,
absolutely. So important. Well, thank you everybody for joining us today, for listening and watching to this episode of Designing with Purpose. If you have questions about what we talked about for Thrive and the work that they do or the way that they go about it, please drop those in the comments. If you've got suggestions for other topics you'd like to hear us talk about on this show, please drop those in the comments as well. We'd love to hear from you.
This ball game.
Hang out at a ball game. Yeah. Give Jeremy a date and a time and he will be there. But the purpose of this show is really to kind of start that relationship process and hopefully give you a taste of who the team is at Thrive and start to build that trust with them just from hearing their perspective. So thanks again for joining us. We will see you next week on Designing with Purpose.